Hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here. Now, post-COVID fatigue is a horrible condition, and those people that have it or know someone that has it knows how distressing, debilitating it can be. And the client that I was working with had a very successful career, very much into their health and fitness, and then this condition came along and it kind of knocked them for six. It really kind of derailed their ability to live life on their terms. Now, this is a session that uses two really important metaphors, and it's all about finding balance, but also calibration. The first metaphor is the metaphor of Icarus. Icarus is based on Greek mythology, where Icarus escapes from an island and they make wings made of feathers and wax. But the problem is that if Icarus flies too high up into the sky, the sun melts the wax and they crash into the waves. And if they go too low, then the waves start to get water on the feathers and again, they crash. So Icarus is really a metaphor of not being too cocky or ambitious, but equally not being reckless. It's about finding that kind of middle ground. And that was very important for this client with post-COVID fatigue, because if they push themselves too hard, then effectively they would even use the word a crash as to what they would experience with the levels of fatigue that they would deal with. So that's one metaphor. The second metaphor is about riding a bike. Now, if you imagine a bike with no gears and a wobbly steering and uncomfortable and the brakes don't work, you're not likely to push that bike to the limits because you know that you could easily crash the bike or fall off the bike. Equally, if you went from a bike like that into a very modern, lightweight racing bike with lots of gears and very kind of responsive brakes and very, let's say, good quality mechanics, like good pedals and gears and all this kind of stuff, then actually you could push that bike further and be safer than on that wobbly, rickety bike where nothing works. And that's quite a good metaphor for this particular client because they didn't know how far they could push themselves. They always had to err on the side of caution. So this uses some modality work, it uses metaphor, but it also paces their experience by taking them back to a memory where they felt really alert, full of clarity. So there's an element of regressing to the time when they felt they had the resources to deal with a situation like that. So if you can connect with this idea of post-COVID fatigue or any autoimmune issues where you really feel that you're drained and you can't trust your body anymore, at its core, this is a session about rebuilding trust with your body through recalibration and respect and self-awareness. So if any of those themes connect with you, I think you'll get some value from this session. And equally, if you like the idea of working with me directly, rather than listening to recordings, have a little look in the description or on my website, adamcox.co.uk, and you'll see that you can book a free consultation call or see my packages and prices and things like that, if that's of interest. If it isn't, forget I said that, but if it is, check that out. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be distracted or disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that slow, long, deliberate breaths of relaxation and calm. And as you exhale, just imagine your outward breath is a release valve for any feelings of tension, stress, worry, or anxiety that you've been holding on to, and feel that relief and release in your outward breath. Before breathing in another deep breath of resourceful relaxation. It's good to relax, but it's better to feel resourceful, to feel that your resources exceed the demands around you. But right now, right here, there are no demands on you. Nothing you have to do, no particular way you have to think, and therefore your resources dramatically exceed current demands. And I want you to feel how that feels. Connect with that feeling, and the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you feel. And the more relaxed you feel, the deeper you breathe. And as your body relaxes, your imagination can take you back to a memory. I want you to think of a time when you were fit, healthy, energetic with clarity. A time when you were riding on a bicycle over hills, climbing the gradients of mountains, looking at picturesque lakes. And as you breathe in and breathe out, feel that sense of freedom, that connection with your body, that connection with nature. That's it. And maybe you can recall a particular lake that maybe you stopped by for a while. And I want you to imagine staring at the lake. And I want you to imagine seeing someone with wings made of wax and feathers flying over that lake. Just imagine it would be dangerous for them to get too close to the water of the lake. And equally, in the blue skies and sunshine, maybe beyond their limits if they go too high. And as you see this modern Icarus flying over the lake, I want you to connect with that time in your life where it was intuitive and your body naturally adjusted whenever you were getting close to limits. I want you to get a feeling that that element of thriving within boundaries existed in your past and will exist in your future. And feel that you are reawakening the neural pathways to thrive within limitations, and occasionally to test those limitations, to reflect and refine. And I want you to imagine there by the lake is a comfortable chair. Imagine sinking into that comfortable chair, and as you do so, just get a sense that each breath is taking you deeper and deeper relaxed. And near this lake are cycle lanes and paths and roads. And I want you to imagine as you drift off into a dreamlike sleep, your imagination sees two different bikes side by side. One of the bikes represents modern technology, gears, an onboard computer. And another bike seems basic, limited, only 3 gears, no suspension. And maybe it's not even that safe. Loose handlebars, ineffective brakes. I want you to get a sense that you will experience the bike that best represents your mind-body connection now. Allow the bike to change to reflect what life feels like for you, with no need to judge. Just notice. I want you to see that those limited gears have an element of limitation. That if you needed to change gears quickly for different gradients or terrains, it would be more challenging on this basic bike. Imagine sitting on that bike and notice the brakes. They work, but not smoothly. Sometimes they might be abrupt. So even if you want to slow down, it feels like you're stopped in your tracks. And sometimes the brakes feel that when you want to brake, you can't. And it continues. And before you even start riding the bike, you notice something else. That when you ride this bike, your vision is compromised. Almost like wearing glasses of the wrong prescription. Almost like everything is a blur. Or like riding through mist. And I want you to imagine that dizzy, blurry sensation. It's enough to move, but not enough to feel confident riding that bike. And as you begin to ride slowly at first, notice how difficult it is to judge how fast you're going, how much effort you're using, and even whether the terrain or gradient is changing. And when you try the low gear, it feels heavy and draining. And when you try the high gear, it feels exhilarating, briefly, but then unstable. And even the middle gear feels like it's not quite right, like you're guessing, like there's no fine adjustment. That when you ride this bike, you're just hoping everything's going to be okay. And just imagine riding around hills and around that terrain near the lakes. And if the path or road subtly changes, a small incline, a change in surface, a shift in wind, you feel unstable and sometimes unsafe. Because this bike doesn't tell you when you're approaching a limit. You only figure that out after you've already crossed it, and connect with that feeling of frustration, because you used to know your limits. You used to feel the edge and adjust before crossing it. But what if on this bike, you only find out all of that later? The next day, in your mood, your energy, and your body. And imagine riding that bike with blurry vision where nothing quite works well. You could imagine that riding like this requires constant vigilance, always being cautious, assuming potholes and slippery surfaces even if there are none. And that would be mentally draining and physically exhausting. But as you continue riding this bike, notice that you're not being reckless. You're being cautious. But caution without accurate feedback can feel like anxiety and worry. Because without those clear signals, every choice can feel like a risk. And the nervous system doesn't like uncertainty. So it tightens, it monitors, it worries. And I want you to get a feeling that you've not lost discipline or intuition. What's changed is the interface. If you have a powerful computer, but someone cracks the screen, the computer is still powerful, but now you have to figure out all the bits that are missing. And I want you to feel that riding this bike feels like you have to make up for the deficiencies in the bike. That the interface between you and your body has changed, but no one showed you the new controls. Imagine returning back to where you were. Feel your feet on the ground. And for a moment just stand there looking at this bike. Not angry, not blaming it. Just recognizing that it's no longer the right tool for the terrain that you're on now. And I want you to notice that all along there was that other bike, and it looks familiar, perhaps like a bike you used to own. But this is modern. This is sturdy. And as you walk over to the new bike, you can lift it up. It feels strong and sturdy but light. This bike is not reckless. It just has lots of resources and capabilities that the other bike didn't. This bike has an onboard computer with accurate feedback. Consider this bike intelligence. See how many gears there are on the back wheel. 9 different options and 3 on the pedals. There are 27 different combinations of all the torque that you can get from this bike. If you wanted to go up a high gradient, you could just adjust quickly, and your energy would make that easy. And if you were going on level terrain or down a hill, you could choose that low gear and that would just be more efficient. Feel that with this bike, choice exists again. No longer push or stop, and not boom or crash, but calibration. The brakes respond as you would want them to. You push hard on the brakes, you stop instantly. You gently squeeze the brakes, you slow down gradually. But everything is smooth, where the pressure equals proportion. I feel like those blurry glasses are no more. Feel that you've got perfect vision, accurate vision. You can see texture, gradients, changes. You can even assess the wind based on how trees are blowing. And this bike doesn't wait for danger. It communicates early. And riding this bike doesn't feel like danger, it feels like fun and freedom. And as you begin riding this new bike, your body understands something. That those 27 different combinations of gears aren't about speed. They're about state. And some combinations support, rest, repair, and that parasympathetic safety. And others allow focus, engagement, and gentle sympathetic activation. A gear is not right or wrong. It's just useful depending on the context. And I want you to feel that your nervous system is connecting with all of these functions in this bike and activating the similar neural pathways that exist in your brain. Allowing the bike and your brain to say a little less, a little more. Stay here. Move forward. Instead of only knowing when it's already too late. And imagine as you're riding difficult terrains around those mountains, the image of Icarus flying over these huge lakes reappears. And I want you to see that Icarus is not flying blind anymore. Icarus has that perfect location in proportion to the lake and the skies. I want you to get a sense that what's okay in one terrain doesn't make sense in another. You've had times when you've gone really fast on your bike, but you wouldn't go that same speed if the roads were icy. And you've had times when you've felt comfortable climbing a high gradient, but you wouldn't do the same thing if the surface was wet mud instead of the tarmac of roads. I want you to feel that the onboard computer is also giving you information, speed, how much the wheels are turning. Even your energy levels, you can see it all. And feel like all of these resources are activating within you. And I want you to feel that sustainability lives between excitement and collapse. And I want you to feel that before, it was difficult to read where those edges were. But feel that your brain is relearning, recalibrating exactly where those boundaries and limitations are, so you can intuitively change what you do depending on all the variables. Feel that integration happening because you haven't become weaker. Your brain has just become more vigilant, more sensitive, more precise, more attuned. And what if this new version of you isn't built for forcing What if it makes more sense to adjust and refine based on feedback? I want you to feel that this new way of thinking, unconsciously, is an upgrade. It feels more like the new bike than the old bike. And I want you to imagine returning that bike, going back to the lake, lying on that relaxing chair. And just imagine future moments, like an activity, a decision, a burst of enthusiasm. And before you overdo it, your body unconsciously signals for you to adjust the gears. And you continue, not stopping, not crashing, just riding well. And I want you to imagine what it would be like if your brain learns over the next weeks and months what it would feel like to trust again. Everything that happens is a feedback loop to train those neural pathways to no longer ride blind or blurry, but know what to do and unconsciously switch gears depending on what your body needs in that moment. Imagine yourself a year from now, a year of all of that feedback and refinement. What would that feel like? And see that future version of you, the things that you could do in your future that might feel beyond reach now. But trust that if your intuition is showing you a future of more choices and more capabilities, it's because your unconscious mind believes that that is possible for you. And the more you make that future bright, compelling, desirable, the more your unconscious will make refinements and adjustments to reawaken old neural pathways, just like turning an old bike into a new one. And as you hold that thought, it's time to return to the present. But taking these new thoughts, ideas, and awaken neural pathways with you. So take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.